Just one bullet, and the entire world map trembled. In 1914, an assassination triggered a war that devastated millions of lives. World War I, a war that introduced trench warfare, terrifying gas attacks, and new technologies like tanks, changing the very definition of war. This was a conflict that not only shook Europe, but the entire world. Discover how this terrifying war began and how the world endured its horrors. World War I, also known as the Great War, began on July 28, 1914. This war reshaped the entire world map and brought destruction on a scale that people of that time could never have imagined. The primary cause of the war was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary and his wife, carried out by Serbian nationalist Gavrilo Princip in Sarajevo on June 28, 1914. This assassination ignited a spark that soon engulfed all of Europe. Following the assassination in Sarajevo, Austria-Hungary accused Serbia and declared war. Russia, Serbia's ally, began mobilizing its forces, and one by one all major European powers got involved in the conflict. Germany supported Austria-Hungary, while France and Britain sided with Russia. Soon this war expanded beyond Europe, pulling the entire world into its flames. In the initial months of the war, a fierce battle began on European soil. Germany attacked France by advancing through Belgium, which forced Britain to enter the war. The war primarily took place between France and Germany, where both sides dug vast trench networks to fight. Trench warfare introduced a new strategy in which soldiers hid in deep trenches, stretching for miles, firing at the enemy from a distance. Life in the trenches was brutal. Soldiers suffered not just physically, but also mentally. The trenches were filled with mud, insects, and the constant sound of gunfire. Soldiers struggled to survive amidst the chaos. Both sides launched heavy attacks, yet there was no decisive victory. The war dragged on for years with no clear winner. World War I revolutionized military tactics and weapons. It was the first war where modern technologies were introduced. Germany became the first to use poisonous gas, a horrifying new method of warfare. Gas attacks caused agonizing and gruesome deaths, making the war even more terrifying. Additionally, tanks were introduced for the first time. Britain developed this technology, which changed the nature of warfare. For the first time, airplanes were also used, not just for attacks, but also for gathering intelligence on enemy positions. These advancements made the war even deadlier, claiming thousands of lives. In 1917, the war took a dramatic turn when the United States entered the battlefield. Initially, the US had remained neutral, but Germany's submarine attacks on British ships forced it to take action. America's involvement became a decisive factor as its troops and resources strengthened the Allied powers. With America's support, the Allies gained new momentum, while Germany's forces started weakening. The German army began retreating on multiple fronts. The war gradually shifted in favour of the Allies, marking the beginning of the end for the Central Powers. On November 11, 1918, Germany surrendered, bringing the war to an end. This was marked by the Armistice Agreement. However, the war's conclusion was far from joyful. Millions had died, and Europe lay in ruins. Following the war, the Treaty of Versailles was signed, blaming Germany for the conflict and forcing it to pay heavy reparations. Not only did Germany have to compensate for the war, but its borders were also reduced. Major empires like Austria-Hungary and the Ottoman Empire collapsed, leading to the formation of new countries such as Czechoslovakia and Yugoslavia. World War I brought massive political and social changes. Europe's political landscape was reshaped, and many old empires disappeared. Russia underwent the Bolshevik Revolution, leading to the creation of the Soviet Union. Economically, many European nations were left in ruins, paving the way for the Great Depression. Socially, the war changed people's perspectives on life. It was not just the soldiers who suffered, civilians endured extreme hardships as well. Women took on new roles during the war, marking the beginning of significant social changes. The war impacted every section of society, leading to a shift in the way people viewed war and peace. After the war, efforts were made to prevent future conflicts. The League of Nations was formed with the goal of maintaining peace, but it ultimately failed to prevent further wars. World War I proved that war brings nothing but destruction. It was a warning to humanity that peace should always be the ultimate goal, and that conflicts must be avoided at all costs. Even today, the consequences of World War I can be felt worldwide. This war was not just a historical event, but a turning point in global affairs. Whenever we see wars or conflicts, we are reminded of the devastation caused by World War I. It teaches us that war only leads to ruin, and that the world must be preserved through peace and diplomacy. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. And in the comments, show your love for the brave soldiers who fought in this war.